welcome back to Casing the Catalogue. Today we are casing straight from the mini catalogue, page 43. It's using the Timeless Tulips stamp set, this one just here. This is the card we are creating here. Let me bring that card in to show you. This is the gorgeous card that we're creating. So let's get over to the craft table and we'll get started. The supplies needed for today's card are the Timeless Tulips stamp set. This is a photopolymer stamp set. It's very similar to one we had a couple of years ago in Celebration, but completely different at the same time. It's got great sentiments there and some gorgeous tulip images that you can create a great scene. Inks, we have Bermuda Bay and Green Apple Green, and we're also using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, Versamark ink, white embossing powder, and the embossing buddy. We have some linen thread, some frosted and clear epoxy droplets. Now these we're going to colour in with the dark Pretty Peacock Stampin' Blends. So these are really great to colour in embellishments. The card kit here is a really simple card kit, and you can find all the measurements and supplies over on my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description of this video. It's also a link to my online store if you would like to purchase any Stampin' Up supplies to make this card or to make anything else and you live in Australia. Please use my online store. Pop in the hostess code and I can send you out. There's some really great specials. I have a bundle tutorial that I send out each month for people who shop with me. It's usually 50 printable PDF tutorials. You can also receive a handmade card or handmade project from me. I personally send that out to you, and you can also earn yourself some Inky rewards. So really great reasons to shop through my online store. So we have Coastal Cabana card base, we have the shimmery white cardstock, and this is so we can do a little bit of ink blending in the background, and a piece of crumb cake for our sentiment. Now our Coastal Cabana card base is half a piece of A4 that has been scored again in half again. I'm going to just fold that one and burnish that edge. And pop that away till a little bit later on. I'm going to bring my shimmery white card in. We're going to do some ink blending with both the Green Apple Green and the Bermuda Bay. So for that I have these little ink blenders. They're not Stampin' Up. You can use a sponge. I just find sometimes these are a little bit easier to use. So I'm going to just grab some of my ink, and I always like to start off the paper and work my way on. And I want to have darker down the bottom and then working my way a little bit lighter towards the center. And I'm working my way up towards the middle. Happy with that, I'm just going to change over my sponge to the Bermuda Bay and bring that colour in now. And I'm also going to start from this end and work my way to the middle. I need to get my re-inkers out and ink all my ink pads. Definitely for the Bermuda Bay I do. And we're just mixing the two colours together, blending the two colours together down the bottom there. A little bit darker on the bottom, or the top it'll be. I think that looks pretty good. I like that. So we can get rid of the Bermuda Bay. I need that to dry just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in that little sentiment piece and the Memento Tuxedo black ink. And we're going to stamp that sentiment that says, "May the memories of yesterday comfort you today." And I just realised we're also using the Everyday Label Punch, and I didn't show you that, so let's get that out. It's this one here. For that sentiment piece, what we're going to do is we're going to just pop the corner of our crumb cake together. You can see it creates, when you punch it down, it's going to give us that great little look there. I'm going to do that on all four sides. So lining the crumb cake up. Another great way to use your punch. Excellent. So that gives us that gorgeous little label. So we're going to start with some embossing of the tulips, and I'm also going to bring in that embossing buddy. It'll just help to stop any wayward of the powder. There we go. And we're using Versamark this time round. And I always like to start with the flower. I like to get my flower positioned in the right spot first, and then we can add the leaves and the stem. So I'm going to use my largest tulip. There we have it. And also that medium tulip. And there is two stems, so one curved and one straight. The straight one we're going to use on that medium tulip, and this will go off the edge. So just lining that up. And the curved one. Go this way. It's probably a little bit hard to see on the camera, but I can see slightly in the light. I'm then going to bring that leaf punch in and just do a couple of leaves just to create a bit of extra interest. And that one's off the side of the paper. Now as I bring in the white embossing powder, you're going to be able to see all that image really well then. So hopefully the embossing buddy has done his job, and we're not going to have stray bits of powder everywhere. And it has, but I've just got a little bit there, which I can just get rid of with my finger. There we are. I'm going to heat that up with the heat tool and I'll be back in just a minute. It turns out so well, doesn't it? So in our card you can see I have some splatters and some bigger droplets. I'm going to try not to have such big droplets this time around, but to create that effect I'm going to bring in my aqua painter and make sure that there's a little bit in the barrel, and then all we're going to do is, well, let's get rid of some of the stuff that we could wreck with it. I'm just going to hit it up against something, and it's just creating little bits of splatter, which is exactly what I want. I'm just going to bring a tissue in, or you could use some paper towel. I'm just going to pick up those bits of drops. Can you see that gorgeous background that we have there? So these are still only small. Let's see if I can bring just a little bit more water down and create a few bigger ones. And I might be even able to, oh, that's a big one. Just going to create a couple of bigger ones. Pick those bits of water up. That's a huge one there. Doesn't that look great? And that's as easy as how to create that gorgeous element in the background. So before we start popping this all together, I'm going to bring in the frosted and clear epoxy droplets, and I'm using the frosted ones. I'm just going to take my Stampin' blend, and this is the dark, oh, that one's tomato. I was actually showing you the Bermuda Bay one before. We need the dark Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to use the thick end, and I'm just going to colour in 2 small ones and a large one as well. Now Stampin' blends are awesome. You can colour in ribbon, you can colour in embellishments. And that's a great way to create a good colour range without owning all the ribbons or all the embellishments. So we do need to let them dry just for a couple of minutes. While we let that dry, let's bring in the linen thread, and we're just going to wrap that around twice. Let me bring that card in again so you can see what we're making. So let's wrap that around twice, and we're also going to tie a bow on one side. So on the left hand side we're going to tie a bow. Oh, that looked terrible. Let's try that one again. You can take off those little tails. Because we've added a bit of water to it, it's going to warp slightly. Let's add some dimensionals to the little label there. And he's going to go on either side of the linen thread there. Let's make sure that it's a little bit not on an angle there. Excellent. This is also going to get popped up onto our Coastal Cabana card base. I highly recommend using the shimmery white card for this. You could also use the thick Whisper White. But the shimmery also gives it that shimmer as well, so it really makes it pretty. With the card base, we're just going to pop that up. And there's a nice little border all the way around. And then these should be dry enough now that we can just start popping them down. So I'm going to use the big one just here. Small one up here by himself. And the other small one just over here. What do you think? Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's case card. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and I'd love it if you left me a comment. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And all the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog, so go and check that blog post out as well. Until next time, have a wonderful day and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.